Hi, beautiful people. How are ya? I hope you're having a great day.
With you, I can be sad with you. Just take my hand and fly up through the dreams where the skies are so clear.
I bought a new filing cabinet for under this desk. Once again, I wanted to get my desktop organized. You know, it takes multiple times, trial and error to get it right. And then you got to start over even after that many times, but it looks better. Do you ever just have one of those days while doing laundry? The dryer kept shutting off. It's never done that before. And so I told my husband that I bet the lint trap is clogged up. Sure enough, we had to get the vacuum sweeper out and pull all that lint and doggy fur out of it. When you have an Alaskan clique eye, you better expect there to be a lot of doggy fur all over your house. What you got there, baby? You got a toy? Can you let mommy have that toy? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, let's play. Arr. Oh. Arr. Let's play. Let's play. Let's play. Oh my goodness. Let's play. Oh yeah, let's play. Oh, Lucy's hoping for a TREAT. Oh, ow, you got my finger. Oh, he gets so excited. Want to get it? Oh, he wants to get it. Go get it. Bring that here. Yeah. Yeah. He'll bring that right back to Mama. Yeah. Bring that right back to Mama. And then I was doing a little organization back in the utility room where the washer and dryer and such are, and reached up high to get a organization basket. And when I did, I hit this bottle of torch oil. I didn't realize it was up there and knocked it off. The lid didn't stay on, so torch oil went all over cabinet that we had in there, down the refrigerator where it was sitting on top of, and all over the floor. Everything had to come out. The floor and everything around there had to be cleaned. It wasn't something I had planned on trying to get done. So now my whole house has baskets and bins everywhere full of all the stuff that was on that metal cabinet, because we ended up throwing the metal cabinet out because apparently I grabbed hold of it for support when I was bending over or trying to stand up, not sure, and bent one of the metal bars so it wouldn't stand up straight. So I'm on the floor and the thing starts to lean towards me with all this paint and everything on it, which we hadn't completely unloaded it yet. My husband comes running in there because I'm yelling, "It's gonna fall on me." So everything had to come off that, and we just pitched it. Hey, but the good news is he's going to build some cabinets back there, basically shelves, not cabinets, that will be sturdy and hold up, drilled into the wall all along that area to hold our extra paint and stain and brushes and just things, things that kind of just are there when you have a home. And then back on Friday, we took Lucy to the vet. She got her toenails cut. Thank goodness she doesn't click, click, click anymore. She had an eventful day today, so she's taking a break. Sweet little baby girl. And then she got her anal glands cleaned out. That was horrible. She's a beagle, so she got pretty loud. And that poor baby, I don't think it felt very well. But now both of our dogs are caught up on their shots and their heartworm medicine. And then we'll take Lucy back to the vet to get her anal glands cleaned out again because he wasn't 100% sure he got it all out. So it's been eventful around here, but let's get on with it. Over the years, I've been able to take my feelings and approach them head on, accept them, symbolize them, tolerate them, regulate them, and make meaning of them. For us to fully process our emotions, we must transform them into meaning and not ignore them. We're not born with the ability to regulate our feelings and emotions, but we can learn to process them and tolerate uncomfortable feelings over time. So that's what I'd like to talk about today. Here we go. When I was in therapy the first time, I was in my early 30s, I discovered that when I needed to either deeply experience my feelings and sometimes block them, I cleaned. I didn't have fibromyalgia back then, and I've always been the kind of person who has a whole lot of feelings. Not everyone is like that. Some of you may work hard to keep your feelings in. But when I'm overwhelmed with emotion, as I have been the last couple of weeks, I have to let it out. And that was evidenced in that part 1 video on fibromyalgia is a serious condition for those who have it. Feelings can be overwhelming sometimes. As a child, my mom sheltered me because she knew that I would become overwhelmed during what might be a traumatic event, like when a car got stalled outside our home on the railroad tracks, and they brought that child into our home after he was hit by the train. Apparently, the parents got out of the car, but the child didn't. That little boy was just maybe a year or 2 younger than me, and I was about 7 years old. My little brother was about 6, and my older brother was about 16. So I probably always had a look on my face that my mom knew I was like not handling something very well, but trying to. And so she asked my brother's friend, who was at the house at the time as well, to take me into the bedroom and just sit with me for a while. And that's what he did. He calmed me by telling me stories and making me laugh. And then I was 18 years old when I went to my first funeral. A friend of mine lost her mom to cancer, and she wanted me to come to the funeral. And my mom was like, "Are you sure?" From my perspective, I knew that there was going to be a little trauma for me, but I went, and she took my hand and walked me up to her mom. I had never seen a deceased body ever in my life. And there was her mom in the casket. And I looked at my friend and I knew that she needed me. So I did it for her. I don't know that I'll ever get that image out of my head, but it doesn't affect me anymore. It wasn't just unhappy events that made me emotional. It was happy events too. I was about 22 when I went to a friend's wedding. I mean, I hadn't seen her since high school, but we were friends in high school, I would say. Her wedding was really beautiful. And I remembered when we were in high school that she thought she'd never find someone. And then I looked at her and her husband and was overjoyed. I ended up bursting in tears through the whole entire wedding, cried during the recessional. That was embarrassing. And when she saw me, she said, "Why are you crying?" I said, "I'm just happy for you." That's what I did. She probably thought that was quite odd since we hadn't seen each other in a long time, but just made me happy. When we allow ourselves to process an emotion, we learn how it feels in our body and in our mind. Allowing ourselves to go numb or avoid strong emotion is unhealthy, and it's not the way you should deal with it. When an overwhelming feeling occurs, we can practice slow, deep breathing and focus on accepting what we're feeling. Feelings like anger, sadness, or pain are normal. We should never judge that feeling. Just accept it. Feelings are sensations that everyone has. They're a cue to our past, our present, and our future. And they relate to our thoughts or memories. We don't want to engage in those feelings, though. Maladaptive coping skills can occur when we exaggerate our emotions. So we need to be objective and ask ourselves, where do you feel the emotion in your body? Or what emotion are you feeling? A therapist can help us process our emotions and explore them. There are many kinds of treatments like emotion processing therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy. Working through emotions can take time. I can attest to that. It's taken me years to be able to handle the emotion I'm experiencing. My emotions lately have been confusing, trying to figure out why I've been sad one moment and angry the next, and then as if nothing ever happened. So I've come to the conclusion that I've been experiencing resentment, which isn't something I've experienced in a long, long time. So it crept up on me. Resentment can cause strong feelings that need to be dealt with. WebMD says that resentment describes a negative emotional reaction to being mistreated. And it says an underlying sense of being mistreated or wronged by another person. So I've taken this head on because I don't want the love and trust for the people in my life that I feel like have wronged me to disappear. But I knew that if I didn't deal with it, that it would hurt the relationships. I don't want them to be broken and difficult to repair. For me, resentment feels like a stabbing in my heart, a disappointment, and at times anger. I know that everyone experiences frustration and disappointment in their lives. There's no way to avoid it. But when feelings become overwhelming, as they were, resentment can be the result. So now what? I didn't want those feelings to lead to unforgiveness or the inability to not let go. Also, I decided that I don't want the recurring negative thoughts to last any longer. That's why I needed to do this video. I don't want those people to continue to trigger resentment and unwanted feelings of wrongdoing. Honestly, I don't even think they're aware of what they're doing. Holding grudges is not my style. But I also know that sweeping it under the rug is wrong too. I know that I need to be compassionate with myself, to be kind to myself. I know my truth, and I'm empowered by that validation. But showing empathy to the people that hurt me is what will help me work through this. The tears and emotions that I expressed in that video were needed and helped me to let go. First, avoiding people in our lives that cause us to feel resentful is not the way to handle our feelings. Our mental health is important, and resentment can have a negative effect on it. It's not worth it to hang on to feelings of anger or sadness. We can also think about resentment when it comes to living with pain. It's not worth it to hang on to feelings of injustice. Why me? Why did this happen to me? This is horrible. This is terrible. We may have about our body. Focusing instead on the things that make us happy will help us get through those feelings. We need our energy, motivation, and positivity in order for us to live and feel accomplished. We can't expect ourselves to do well in this world when we feel negative about the things that have happened in the past or are occurring right now. Remember, it doesn't matter what other people think about us, especially if it has to do with fibromyalgia. They don't understand and can't understand. But I understand that they could be empathetic. However, if they haven't been taught the way to be empathetic, they're probably not going to be able to express that. Some people are just not very good at being around people who have an illness. So we do what makes our lives better instead of trying to please others. Resentment has a lasting effect on our body and can increase our stress levels. And we know what happens when we're stressed. Here's what I recommend. This is what I'm doing. Choose to show empathy towards the people who hurt you. I choose to feel positive. I choose to live life in a way that's best for me. We can choose to tell them that our feelings are hurt, or we can imagine how they would feel if someone did the same thing to them and accept that their behavior was unintentional or never meant to hurt us in any way. Forgiving people reduces resentment, and we'll feel better as a result. I have so much to be thankful for, and that's what I have chosen to think about. I have a loving husband who cares about me and family who understand that fibro is not my fault, and I'm learning how to live. Every day is different, as one of my subscribers stated, and so when I'm not well, I have to take care of myself, but more on that here in a moment. When we feel chronic resentment or anger, Our brain's limbic system activates our fight or flight response, which regulates our emotions by releasing neurotransmitters like cortisol into our bloodstream to give us energy for action. The limbic system, which is located in the brain, specifically in the cerebrum, which processes emotion, memory, and other things, and our autonomic nervous system, where bodily functions and fight or flight are processed, and our endocrine system, where hormones are processed, are highly connected and important in the body's response to stress. In fibro, these systems are already irregular and on high alert, and feeling resentment can cause psychological issues that we don't need, like anxiety or depression. And resentment can lead to health problems like high blood pressure, heart disease, or diabetes. And even though we need to be kind to ourselves, if we haven't let go of our resentment, self-compassion will only feel better in the short term. It'll wear us down. Think of living with resentment as driving a car without brakes. Sooner or later, you're going to wreck. Taking the time to heal and move on properly is the key. I'm not very good at speaking up about things that hurt me to other people. And that, my friends, is exhausting and stressful. So think of resentment as a symptom that something is wrong. It's a red flag that needs attention. It's about managing my reaction to the resentment. I've been feeling calmer and more centered the last few days. I'm facing the obstacles that were causing me stress, and I'm having more energy and peace because of it. Here's a quote that I love. Our feelings have a message that wants to be heard and understood. Feelings aren't good or bad. It's what we do with them that matter. Unquote. I hope you learned something and that this all made sense. I send you gentle hugs and support. Love you. Once again, I wanted to get my desktop and then we'll take gold. And then I was 18 years old when I went to my I came to the conclusion that it's resentment, and I'm empowered that they.
With you, I can be sad with you. Just take my hand and fly.